been all around the world. Oh, every city, every place. Oh, always been a restless girl. Oh, but now there's a wind of change. I've never ever felt this way. Longing for you, pick up the phone. Catching a flight, I'm coming home. Back to the place I've always known. Home, home. Seeing you soon, I gotta run. We're gonna have a lot of fun and spending this summer alone. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. You were only like a friend. Oh, till we met the other day. Oh, didn't want the night to end. Oh, and now there's a wind of change. I've never ever felt this way. You're stuck inside my mind. Deep inside my mind. I think that now's the time. Longing for you, pick up the phone. Catching a flight, I'm coming home. Back to the place I've always known. Home, home. Seeing you soon, I gotta run. We're gonna have a lot of fun and spending this summer alone. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm counting hours, minutes, seconds, faster, hurry, make it happen. Before we know it, I'll be on my way home. Yeah, we're chilling, I just, you and I, every crazy summer night. Baby, I am coming home. I'm coming home. Longing for you, pick up the phone. Catching a flight, I'm coming home. Back to the place I've always known. Home, home. Seeing you soon, I gotta run. We're gonna have a lot of fun and spending this summer alone. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home.
Stand back, you ought to see I'm busy. Wait up till later when I'm dizzy. I guess I should say that I'm sorry for all the times I know I've been a worry. You came to me so warm and bright. I felt alright, always felt alright. Okay, it's coming around again. I say it's always so evident this way. Passion is hard for me. I'm not eager to testify why I'm living inside a lie. Somehow it's easy to run and hide. I'm not the asking kind.
Okay. It It is that time, people. It is Friday, March 8th. Let's switch over to the camera. Hello. Hello, everybody. I don't know why I just clapped. I don't know. I just felt like it for some reason. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Beyond the Doll. We are on episode 37. Today is a recap episode, so letting you guys know way ahead of time. It's a recap episode for Katsucon, which happened 2 weeks ago. Didn't get to do the recap right after the con because I had another video that we did that was a very good video. It was a great video. So we had to delay like the review video. So if you don't like review videos of the con, today's not the day to tune in. So I just want to give you that heads up because I know some people like it, some people don't. So yeah. So today I have the very lovely Artemis with me. Welcome PMB Sakura, welcome to the stream. I have Artemis with me hanging out. For some reason the light is not hitting her that well, so she kind of looks a little too dark on the screen. Maybe I turn her a little bit like this. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes as the video goes on. But yeah, today we're gonna recap about Katsucon, which happened 2 weeks ago in Washington, D.C., in a different area than Otakon. They're actually, I want to say maybe like 40 minutes apart or half an hour apart drive from each other. This happened in the National Harbor, which I've never been to before. Plus, I've never been to Katsucon before, so it was my first time. And the National Harbor, let me just say, it's a mixed bag. Like the area where the con is, excuse me, something like flew in my eye. The area where the con itself is really, really nice. It's very bougie, very fancy looking. Like they got all these like high-end like restaurants and like stores like around it. And a watery, like it's by the water, obviously, because it's the Inner Harbor or National Harbor. But once you leave that area, which is like, I don't know, like maybe I want to say like 5 or 8 block radius around the hotel in each direction, roughly. Once you leave that area, it gets like really like not like a place you want to be in. I don't know if it's like that everywhere. To be fair, Otakon is the same way. Like within a certain like 4 block radius of Otakon, it's okay. But like once you like get past that, like in a certain direction that you walk to, it gets a little shady. But National Harbor was the only place that I've been to that once you get out of that like fancy harbor area, there was literally a police car at almost every other like store. Like our hotel, because I didn't stay in the National Harbor because it's too expensive. Our hotel always had a police car outside that was manned. Like it's not like it was just there for show. It's just an empty car. No, it was always manned. The local, McDonald's or, Walmart or whatever, like banks, they all had police cars like around them. So I don't know if there was like some kind of special like watch that weekend or whatever, but there was like police like everywhere in force, which I mean is fine because it means that they're doing their job, they're protecting us. But I just never seen so many out in force like in such a small area amongst each other. But anyways, let's talk about like the con itself. So the National Harbor, let me see if we switch screens here. So this is the Gaylord, I think it's called the Gaylord National Resort or something like that, but this is where the con is held. Super, super fancy looking, right? Like it looks, it's like really cool, like outside and around the area. And to the left of this, you can't see it, but to the left of this building, there's like this gigantic like Ferris wheel that you could ride it, and like each car in the Ferris wheel is like covered obviously with like a door, so it's not like you'll get cold. And I believe it's heated inside like the ones we have here in Jersey, but I don't really know because I didn't ride it. But like the gigantic Ferris wheel like just left of this building, but this main building here is the hotel itself, I want to say, and like each of these sides are where the rooms are for the guests. This middle area is really cool, and then more rooms in this back area here. And then over here on the right, this building here is like the actual convention hall. So you actually walk between the two buildings. There's like a sky bridge thingy to go in between the two buildings. But like over on this side is basically where that's like the dealer's room, the artist alley, like all like the main things happen over here on this side. And then all the panel rooms where people are doing the panels, like the workshops, like cosplay repair, whatever. All that stuff was in this big glass building, like all along like this side and like this back side over here that you could see here. But when you get inside, this is normally where everybody kind of starts per se. This is where like you come in and like you get your badges. You kind of like walk down here and then turn right, like over on this area. There's like a big open like empty hall where you basically get your badges. They tried to make it like this weird zigzag thing, but they put tape on the floor instead of like actual dividers, like rope dividers or anything like that. So people were like people were getting a little crazy in some areas, where not that people were cutting or anything, it's just that it was hard to tell in which line and which path you were on, because like all the little tape was being blocked by obviously people standing over them. So it was a little wild, but regardless of that fact, it did run smoothly. Like everybody was kind of going in and out rather quickly getting their badges. So despite that fact, it did run pretty smoothly for the most part. But then when you get to that middle part of the building, so like that's this. So you, like this big open glass area, that's here, like right over here. And this was probably the coolest part about this convention place and this hotel is that is this huge glass domed in area. And as you can probably already guess, this whole area, like almost everywhere in this area, is like cosplay central. Like all the cosplayers are here because of all the magnificent lighting like coming through the windows. So everyone's taking pictures. There was a long line that wrapped around this whole area on this side because people wanted to take pictures in this gazebo. And then obviously the grassy area down here, which you can't really see it too well from this picture, but there's actually houses in this area. There's two houses. Like you could see them. I'll show you a better picture, but like these are all hotel rooms. So if you did stay at the con, you can actually look over at all the people without even getting out of your hotel room. Like you just kind of look over your little terrace and like watch the people basically go about in their con. Now I'm assuming that these rooms are more expensive than the ones that are facing outside the building. But this big area was probably the coolest place. But because it's the coolest place to take pictures and like hang out, it was so crowded. Like I'm talking like you are shoulder to shoulder, kind of like this, walking everywhere. It was incredibly crowded. Big Bob, welcome to the stream, Big Bob. Hello, I'm a new viewer, but I was wondering who the blue-haired girl in your YouTube banner is. The blue-haired girl, right here, you could see her down here. Her name is Sachiko. She is my mascot character for the channel. I created her. Like all of like my little personal preferences of anime that I like and imagined in a character. My artist friend that's really good at drawing drew her for me and created all my banners and all my my icons and things like that. Like all my stuff basically was made by her. But yeah, her name is Sachiko. She's not like from any other thing. She was my own from my mind, I guess you could say. PNB Sakura, that looks so cool. Indoor little town. It was like, it's like a little indoor town, which was really, really nice. So like, if I go to the next picture here, so you could see the two houses. There's like this big water fountain, which obviously all the cosplayers were like trying to get pictures of the water fountain too. And then these two houses. Now this brown house, like you can't go in any of the houses really, but this brown house, I don't know what they were doing with that, but this white one, they were actually selling things out of one of the doors. Like you could buy, I think it was selling candy or something in this house, or some kind of like snacks and things like that. On this side of the hall, there were like these little stores where you can buy like, it's for, how every hotel has like a little store that sells soda and like little knickknacks, like tchotchkes, like gift shop. That's the name I was looking for. It's like a little gift shop on this right hand side. On this left hand side is like cafeteria. So you wait in this long line that started basically at this house down here, and then it wrapped around to go all the way here. The entrance was right here. You get in and there's like this big, it's not huge, but there's like this cafeteria area. And on this side, there's like a little baguette area selling like croissants and stuff like that. And then you pay over here and you get out from this side, and everybody sits at these tables and eats, or over here, blah, blah, blah. So like that's pretty much like the layout of the downstairs area. And a lot of cosplayers are taking pictures by the trees because it made it look like they were outside, even though you were inside, and outside was just very, very cold. Some of the cosplayers actually took pictures outside and braved the cold. My hat's off to them because it was super cold being next to the water. But yeah, it is a really, really cool and beautiful venue, but also in a very expensive area of DC. This is what it looks like at night. This is not when I was there because the Christmas tree wasn't there. This was just a picture I found, but this is basically what it looked like during the nighttime. It's still really cool. They had like all these lighting around. It's a very nice, super cool area. And then this part. Okay, so the reason why I put this picture in is this is one of the many connecting hallways that go in between places. So, you know, to your left, there's another hallway that takes you to panel rooms. To your right is another hallway that takes you to more panel rooms and all these like windowed areas that also a lot of cosplayers were hanging out and taking pictures. Upstairs was more like workshops and stuff, and straight ahead down the middle is more workshops. A lot of people hang out in this big area here to take pictures or meet up with friends. Like it's like a nice area. But the reason why I really put this picture in is because of these stairs. These stairs don't, I guess they kind of don't look like a really cool place to like take pictures, but because I didn't see many people taking pictures on these stairs. There were some that occasionally came by every now and then, but most of the cosplayers were in the big open glassy area. But I found this place to be a really cool place to take pictures. So for my picture taking at this con, this is the original picture. So some of you that follow me on Instagram, you might recognize the picture from my Instagram. I took this in the stairs. So this is the stairs here, and the lighting is not great. It was very yellow. So in the natural picture, you could see it's very yellow-ish because the lighting was so bad. But if you color grade it, it actually came out like this. I think I made it a little too bright for exposure. That's 100% my fault because when I was editing the photo, I was doing it in my hotel room with the lights off and like because everybody was sleeping. And I think my iPhone auto dimmed my screen because the lights were off, so it's not too bright in my face. So when I was color correcting it, I had to make it a little brighter so that I could see the color corrections. I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but then after I posted it and then I saw it in the daytime, I was like, oh, I think I blew it out way too much. It's a little too bright. But I got the colors right. Like the colors was fine. I think I just did the exposure a little too much because you could see a huge difference, between it's super dark and like super yellowed, and then all of a sudden now it's more white, but a little too much. It's a little too strong, but whatever. I mean, you live and you learn. But it was a really good place. Like another picture. This is Izumi. Now she has a name, people. I've been trying to figure out a name for her. Thank you everybody that voted on Instagram for the name choices. But yes, this is Izumi. And I took a picture of her on the stairs, and you can't really, you can't tell like too much like where it was taken. But again, this was taken at these stairs right here. I was actually sitting right on this side at this middle ledge, this middle landing. I was literally right there. And then I took the picture here facing that glass wall, and it just came out really, really nice. It kind of looks like shiplap behind her. And then like, obviously she came out a little too exposed because again, I was editing it in the dark, which now I know that's a bad idea because your eyes don't adjust to it the right way. But yeah, that's basically the pictures I did. Now, I wanted to do I brought Dolphy Dreams with me, and I brought Smart Dolls with me because I was doing different panels for both the doll companies. Not sponsored or anything like that. I was just doing panels in general. Like I had a Dolphy Dream panel, I had a Smart Doll panel, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. So I had to bring, both brands to represent. The first day I was able to take the Dolphy Dream pictures because that's when my Dolphy Dream panel was. And then when I had my Smart Doll panels, I was super busy that day, and then there was something that prevented me from taking pictures. So I have no pictures of my Smart Dolls at this con because I had a bad time that day. Well, not the whole day, but something happened, which I'll get to in a second. But these are 2 pictures I have of them. And then the panel itself, like I went to the panel, I totally forgot to take a picture. I usually take a picture of, my setup at the panel. So I forgot to take one for the Smart Doll panel, which was already a bad start. But the Dolphy Dream panel, this is Hana-chan and Izumi sitting here on the table. I had my laptop set up over here, and I have the new Volks rolling doll carrying suitcase thingy. I think they call it doll carrier. So I was doing the Dolphy Dream panel. I was able to take that picture. It's basically how they looked. The panel rooms in general, they were pretty good. Like, I didn't get the bigger rooms, which is great. I hate it when they do that to me because as much as I love doing these panels, they don't really fill the room because it is an anime con. So most people want to go see anime stuff. But, because the dolls are Japanese, it's Japanese related, it's anime related as well as they are anime styled. They do accept me into some of the cons and they give me time to talk about this and expose this lovely hobby to the attendees, whoever is at these cons. And I hate it because what happens is sometimes I go to a con and they assign me the largest room. And it's so embarrassing because they give me this large, like, it could fit like 200 people, like, sized rooms. And I'm on this gigantic stage with these really big screens with my presentation on it. And then there's like 20 to 40 people in there. And it's a lot. That's a lot of people. But like in a big room like that, it looks like nobody showed up. Like it, like it looks so bad. Like, oh, this guy's got a horrible panel. Look at that. There's barely anybody in there. Well, it looks like there's barely anyone there because it's this gigantic room. So at Katsucon, I was very grateful they gave me the smaller rooms, like one of the smallest rooms, because at least it made it look more like realistic, you know what I mean? Like it's most of these rooms that can fit about like 50 people. And then like, I kind of filled up like half the room. So usually around like 20, 25 people. Some people leave in the middle, whatever. Some people come in the middle, whatever. But like, I like those rooms better. And it's also more fun for me because I'm closer to the audience. So when I get to talk to them, I get to look at each person and actually talk to them rather than like this gigantic lecture hall where it's like, there's just a sea of faces and like, you don't know like who you're really talking to. And when you're trying to answer questions, it's like, yeah, you all the way in the back. No, the one behind him, like that guy over there. Yeah. So it gets a little confusing, but I like the fact that Katsucon gave me like the smaller rooms. I really enjoyed that. Cause that really appeals to the audience size that I usually get. And I do have to say that out of most of the cons I go to, Katsucon staff was great. Like I would give them 8.5, almost 9 out of 10. Like they were great. They were very helpful. They cleared the room, gave me enough time to set up. They gave me enough time to take down all my stuff. They were great in letting me know when to start, when my ending time was coming soon. Like the staff at Katsucon was one of the best staffs that I've had. Like, and I've been to many cons doing these doll panels. They're one of the best, I would say, so far. The best would definitely be Otakon. I've always had like the best reaction with staff at Otakon, but Katsucon was definitely one of the best. It would be second best if anything. But yeah, the panel rooms were really nice. Staff was amazing. And then after the cons, I met this really lovely lady here. Actually, I met a lot of really cool people. And I was able to hang out actually after one of my panels with a big group of them. Like maybe I say big, but like it was maybe about like 6 to 7 individuals that were hanging out after the panel, and we were talking about dolls and doll stuff and cons, and it was just a really great time, a really good core group of people. And this one lovely woman had this doll that I wanted to take a picture of because she dyed the dolls herself. So she made this custom, like, it was like you could see it in the picture. Like, it's more like a dark turquoise kind of like color. Very cool looking. And the most amazing part is that she was able to dye it in a way where it doesn't stain anything. Like, because usually sometimes when you heavily dye things, you'll get stain from the color on your hands. And then like you touch other things, like say if you have other dolls and then you touch the other dolls, you might stain them, or the clothes might get stained if they're wearing white. But she was able to do it where like it didn't have any of that. She did tell me how. I totally forgot, how she did it. But either way, very lovely woman. And I also like a bunch of guys over here too that I was talking to about like different types of things, like doll related, like where we talked about Japan doll shopping. We talked about other cons. We talked about like Geekdom Con, which is coming up. Lots of different things. And I really appreciate those individuals that stay after a panel to just talk some more, because I don't normally get that too much at most of the cons, because you got to remember, like, most of these cons that I go to are anime focused. They're not doll cons. I actually haven't been to an actual doll con because most of the doll cons are not anywhere near where I live. So I usually like piggyback off of anime cons, because these dolls, like, for those of you that watch my channel a lot, you know that these dolls are very anime aesthetic. So a lot of the characters are either collaborated from anime, or they have anime aesthetics where like they have the anime features, like the big eyes and like, like the kind of cat-like faces and things of that nature. So like, I think it's a good segue, trying to introduce this hobby to people that are more open to those kind of things. I'm not as brave as Danny is to do doll panels like in areas that people don't know anything about dolls or anime at all. And plus the fact that I think as a panelist, not a guest, like, I don't think they would actually, like, if I go to a video game con, I don't think I would get accepted for a panelist talking about dolls. That probably wouldn't work as well as, doing it at an anime convention. But like I said, I'm really appreciative to all the individuals that take the time out of their busy con day, because there's a lot of things to do at a con, to like take time out and talk with me and like just talk doll stuff. So that was a lot of fun. And that day I was supposed to go. Okay, so this segues back to my original story, or not original story, but the story about why I had somewhat of a bad day. So after I met with these lovely people, I was supposed to go and meet with my daughter to get lunch. And then after lunch, I was going to take pictures of my smart dolls. That was the plan, because I needed to get pictures of them. And then this happened. So we went to go eat. I went to the cafeteria the first day. The second day, I went to a restaurant that's inside. So if we go back a couple pictures to the area, this one. So actually, this is the better one. So right here, right below, where you can't see, obviously, in front of these two buildings, like below this picture, there's a restaurant. It was called like, it was like Social, like Harbor Social or Social whatever. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that the place is bad. They had really, really good food. The atmosphere was pretty cool. And there's gaming. So like, you could do bowling. They had 2 bowling lanes in this restaurant. They had 2 pool tables in the restaurant. They also had like some other, I forgot what you call that game where you slide those metal pucks across the way. They had that. They had this bar. They had all these like they had these big TVs like doing different kinds of like shows of sports and things like that. It's got a really cool vibe. Like, it's a really cool place. Now, The problem was obviously, because it's a con, every single place is packed. Like every place is packed. So like, the cafeteria place was packed. This restaurant was packed. There was another restaurant where it was packed. Long wait times, long lines. This is to be expected. Like this is at no fault of the restaurants their own. It's to be expected. So this particular restaurant that I went to, I had to wait to get inside, like all the other restaurants. So I think I waited maybe like 40 minutes to get into the restaurant, which was long, but again, it's expected because it's a busy weekend and nobody wants to leave the hotel to go out and get food. Everybody's just eating inside. So whatever. It took a long time to get in. That's to be expected. I get in and the hostess there was a gentleman there, a really funny guy. Like it was funny talking with him, but he was like explaining to everybody, sorry for the long wait. It's very busy and we're also short staffed. Like I guess a couple people called out sick or something, but they were like short staffed. So that already was like that was some bad juju there because he was like, there's a long wait and then they're short staffed. So, please be patient. So I was like, fine, no problem. It's a convention. You're short staffed. It's going to take a while. I have no problem waiting. Like, obviously I want to eat and get out, but it is what it is. You have to wait and they're short staffed and they're very busy. I acknowledge all that and I'm fine with that. What got me mad was that my daughter and I sat down. We're looking through the menu. And because we never been there before, it's a good thing that it took a while for the waiter to come around because we wanted to check out the menu to see what we wanted to eat. The problem I had was that we sat down, we waited, and like half an hour goes by to about, I think it was like half an hour to roughly about 40 minutes goes by. And a waiter has not stopped by to take our order yet. Like we were waiting a long time. Now, again, this is to be expected. It's very busy and they're short staffed. That's to be expected. But what got me mad was people that came in after me were getting served. That's what got me mad because we sat down and I saw, and because it's an anime con, sometimes it's really easy to identify people. So like people that were standing behind us in line that were wearing very specific costumes that, you can't really get confused. Like they would come in and get seated after us. I think about a good like 3 to 4 groups of people, of like groups of 2, some groups were 4, some groups were 6, depending on, the size of the groups. But, it was very easy to pick each group apart because everybody was in different cosplays. It was kind of easy to identify people. So as we're waiting, these people are getting seated after us, right? Which is to be expected because we came in before them. But then the waiters came by and took their orders. Like the waiters came by, took their drink orders, brought them their drinks, then took their food orders, and then brought them their food. Like these people came in after me. Like I was sitting there waiting and I was getting really frustrated because I was like, I get it. You're busy. You're shorthanded. Like it's going to take a while. But why are people that are being seated after me getting their orders taken and getting served their food? It even got to the point where one of the tables that came in after me actually ate, paid, and left before I was able to make my order. Like before a waiter came by to take my order. Like I was getting really frustrated. So it's already been like half an hour to like 40 minutes waiting outside. And then when we got into the restaurant, it was already about like half an hour to like 35 minutes waiting for a waiter to come by to take my order. I got so frustrated to the point where like I was like waving like the menu in the air. And then like I flagged down one of the busboys that was cleaning up the table next to me. And I said, hey, I was wondering if you can send a waiter around because we've been waiting for quite some time. And he was like, yeah, sure. I'll send somebody by. So he left and like I watched him like walk away. And I don't know if he ever got a waiter for us, but none came. And I seen the same busboy coming out cleaning tables, which is what he's supposed to do. Like he's supposed to go clean. that's part of his job. But like, I still didn't see a waiter come out. So it got to the point where I think it's the manager or it wasn't the host, because I saw that person, but I think the manager was walking around, making sure that everybody was having a good time, reassuring people that, hey, it's very busy, we're short staffed, please be patient, kind of thing. They came by and, walked by my table and asked, how are you guys doing today? And I said, well, we haven't been served, we haven't been taking our order as of yet. And they gave me the same line. They were like, yeah, we're really busy, we're really short-handed, unfortunately, please be patient, we'll send somebody as soon as possible. And I said, no, I get that. And I told them that. I said, I get that you're busy, I get that you're short-handed, and I don't mind waiting. But I told them my problem is, and I said this to the manager, I said, my problem is people that were waiting in line behind us to get in came in after us, got seated, got their orders taken, got their food out, and one group over there actually ate and left already, and I still haven't gotten my order taken. And they were like, oh my God, I can't believe that nobody came by, blah, 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 whatever. So like, they personally took my order, they went in the back, food came out like fairly, reasonably quick for them being busy. We ate and everything, and, they came by again, how's everything doing? And I was like, things great, thank you very much for helping us out, blah blah blah. And after that, it was like a good transaction, I guess, because I had the manager like direct attention. But that whole ordeal took up like almost 3 hours of my time, to like waiting outside, waiting inside, then waiting for the food after my order was taken, eating my food, then paying, and then like leaving. Almost 3 hours it took. Like I was so mad, but not, like I wasn't mad that it took long per se, but I was just mad at the situation, like what happened. I was like, how are people getting orders taken and served, and some of them even leaving already, that came after me? Like, it was just, I was so mad, but whatever. It was like 3 hours, and that really ate into my time to take pictures of the smart dolls, because the reason being is after those 3 hours, I immediately had to do another panel. And then after that panel, I had another panel to do. And then after that panel was done, it was 9 p.m. So I've lost all lighting from outside. So I wasn't able to take pictures anymore. And the next day I was driving home. So that's my long story of why I have no smart doll pictures from the con, is because, and this con I was very busy. I was doing 5 panels within 2 days. So, I was extremely busy. I was only supposed to do 2 panels, but no, 3 panels. I was supposed to do 3 panels, but then 2 panels like called out sick or something, or was no shows, and the panel registration people asked me if I'd be willing to do 2 more panels to fill those slots. I said yes. So it made my 2-day weekend very packed to do 5 panels in 2 days. So, and one day had 3 panels and one day had only 2 panels. So the day with the 3 panels was the day that I had this 3-hour gap where I had to wait to eat, basically. It was terrible. It was really bad. And like I said, like the food, the atmosphere was great. The food was, when the food finally came out, the food was fantastic. Like it was absolutely delicious. It was just that that waiting time, man. And that's the fact that other people were getting served that came in after me was just it just didn't set me the right way. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm being too much of a Karen about it. I just figure, like, you should take the people's orders that came in the order that they came in, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me. PMB Sakura says, "Oh my god, 3 hours, that's horrible." It was pretty bad. Like, not only was I hungry, Sakura, but like I said, it was just all around like not a good time. Good shot, Red 2. Welcome to the stream, Good shot. I felt so bad. I sat at the bar one night at Mag and they grabbed my order immediately. The people next to me had been waiting a while. Yeah, I noticed that too. And that's usually like the go-to plan. So when you go to these conventions and you want to eat, the fastest way in and out is to sit at the bar. I couldn't do that though because I had my daughter with me. So I didn't, not that I can't sit at the bar with my daughter, but I just didn't feel it was appropriate to have my daughter sit at the bar where most people were drinking. So like, you know, we got a table instead. But yeah, like usually like the bar is like the go-to place. Like if you're sitting by yourself or if you're sitting with like a bunch of individuals that can drink, you know, the bar is the easiest way because the bartender comes around, gets you your drinks. They put in the order already for you instead of having to wait for a waiter to come around. So I did see that happen. I saw a lot of people come in after me, sit at the bar, already eat and leave already while I was still waiting. Luxaria, welcome to the stream, Lux. Just talking about Katsucon and my my horrible lunch, well, somewhat horrible lunch experience. Like I said, the food was very cool, very good. The atmosphere was very cool. It was just like the service was a little not to my liking. But you know, once I got the manager's attention, like it ended up being really good. But you know, I was very civil and calm about it when they came by. I said, listen, this is what happened. You know, do you think you can help me out? You know, and they were very courteous and very kind to me, you know, because I guess they understood the situation. But that whole 3-hour lunch ordeal, like really killed my photography time for Smart Dolls. Like day 1 was Dolphy Dream Pictures. Day 2 is Smart Doll Pictures. And yeah, it didn't go very well for that. Yeah, that is not allowed in Maryland anyways. Oh, really? You can't have the kids at the bar? Yeah, I don't know if that's a rule or not, but yeah, I saw a lot of people that sat at this very bar, like, hold on, where's my pointer? This very bar, like, we actually sat in the picture here, we were back here in this back corner where these blue chairs were. I don't know if you guys can see in the picture, but we were actually sitting right here. And there's more tables and chairs off to this side behind the bar. And then like, obviously other people were sitting here and here, but like, yeah, like I was sitting right here and nobody was coming by to take my order. And everybody else that was sitting in this area with the TVs, they all came after me and all of them were getting their orders taken. Some of them left already because they already finished eating and I was still waiting for my order to be taken. It was not the best of situations, but again, the atmosphere is cool. And when I finally got my food, the food was delicious. Like that was really good. And pricing for the food is not too bad when you consider the fact that yes, you're at a convention, you're in a hotel, you know, there is a little bit of a markup because there's an event going on. And it's, you know, it's obviously a fancy looking restaurant. So the prices were a little high, but it wasn't atrociously high. And plus the fact that, you know, like again, the atmosphere, like you could do bowling in this restaurant, you could play pool in this restaurant. So it does have a lot of really cool things you can do. But yeah, that was my harrowing experience with that. The last panel of the con I did had a little bit of a hiccup too. So the very last panel I had of the con was not a doll related panel. I did my sumo panel, my sumo wrestling panel. And the sumo wrestling panel was it was supposed to start at 8 p.m. It was supposed to start at 8 p.m. on Saturday. And the person, like, for whatever reason, usually these panel rooms, the doors are always open. Anybody can go in and out. But the panel room I was presenting my panel in was locked because apparently the panelist before me called out. So there was nothing going on in that room. So I guess they decided to lock it. So when I came to do my panel, the staffer that was there couldn't get in because they didn't have the keys to get in. And obviously I couldn't get in because the staffer couldn't get in. And then people started lining up for the panel asking, hey, is this the sumo panel? And we were like, yes, but we can't get in the room. It took a good 15 minutes to get somebody to come down and unlock the room. So I was already 15 minutes late. But the great part was I was the last panel of the day in that specific room. So it didn't matter if I started late. I could go as long as I wanted afterwards anyway. So that was great. And con staff was great in, allowing me to, take my time. If I took more than an hour, which was like the time slot allowed, then they were okay with it because of the delay. So I was like, great, awesome. So, but the reason why I say this is because that panel surprisingly did so well. Like, I've done the sumo panel in other conventions before, and I usually get like a varied crowd. Sometimes it's a small crowd, sometimes a fairly decently sized crowd. But here at Katsucon this year, my sumo panel exceeded capacity. I was very surprised at this. Now, I had a medium sized, I didn't have the small room. I had a medium sized room. So in this room, I think the con staff said it's an 80 person capacity that they can have in this room. And it was at capacity. Like, people were already standing in the back wall, and some were sitting on the floor. It was so packed. I was like, oh wow, I didn't really expect this many people to be interested in sumo, but great. Like, so, I was doing this panel, and I think it was probably the most fun I've had at in my Katsucon panels, because the sheer size of people, and because obviously the topic is different. It's not dolls. It was about like a sport, and I had a lot of videos to play. So a lot of people were like cheering for like, certain sumo wrestlers, like in the examples I was showing. So it was really a great experience. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to top that the next time I go to Katsucon. I've been in bigger panels before with more people, but that was more in a group atmosphere. Like, I've done Final Fantasy XIV panels with a group of people, like a group of 4. And that panel, because it's Final Fantasy XIV, obviously we had way more people. I think the biggest crowd we had for that one was at Anime Boston. We did a Final Fantasy XIV panel, and we also filled that room to capacity. And I think that was like a 120 person size room. So yeah, that was pretty awesome. But yeah, it's always great, as a panelist, like when you host a panel that the room fills to capacity. It's even better feeling when, not for the attendees, but as a panelist, it's an even better feeling when you fill the room to capacity and they turn people away and they're like, sorry, you can't come in, we're at capacity. So then there's people waiting outside. Now, for those people waiting outside, that sucks. That really sucks. But I'm just saying, like, as a panelist, to have that many, like, people come to see you, it just makes you feel so awesome, like, inside. But that's like my only little tidbit about like the sumo panel. Like, obviously this is a doll centric channel, and I'm talking about a con where I was talking about dolls, but at every panel, I always do doll panels, and I always do like one offshoot panel that's not related to dolls. So like last year, I think I did Macross panels, aside from the doll panel. This year I'm doing sumo panels aside from the doll panel. So yeah, I always like choose doll panels as my main focus, and I always do like one offshoot panel, like other than that. And I've been very blessed and very lucky that, these conventions allow me to do so, because not everybody gets their panels accepted when they apply. And I know that feeling too. I've been to many cons where all my panels have been rejected. So, I do have to say that I've been very blessed, that when I make these application submissions, that con staff or panelist staff read my submissions and they think it's a great panel for their attendees. So I do appreciate that so much from every con I've been to give me that opportunity to speak at their cons. Good Shot Red 2. My wife and I try to eat lunch at 3 p.m. or 9 to 11 p.m. for Katsu. Goes a little bit more smoothly. Yeah, I can definitely see that appeal because as I walk around the con, going to different conventions or going to the dealer's room, during that time frame, you're right. I do see that area a lot less populated, but I was in that time slot of from what was it? My panel ended at 1, so I started lining up at like 1, and then I didn't get out until like 4, and then I had a panel right afterwards. So yeah, that time frame was really bad. And when I was leaving the restaurant, that's when like there was no longer a line outside. People were just walking in. So yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. Good shot. Like after 3 p.m. is definitely good, or like 9 to 11 is usually more empty. But 9 to 11 I'm already heading back to my hotel room at that point. Good Shot Red 2 also says that's awesome turnout. I wanted to be there, but we had our dinner reservations at 8:30. Oh, were you there like this year? Good Shot Red 2? Because if that's the case, did you come to my doll panels? Because I'm trying to put like the names with like the faces and stuff, so I so I can kind of remember people. But yeah, it's if you missed the sumo panel, I'll be doing a follow-up one. Well, I applied to do another sumo panel at Otakon this year. I don't know if it'll get accepted, but it's going to be a different type of sumo panel than the one I did at Katsucon. For obvious reasons, I don't want to do the same type of panel, back to back, because then people have already seen it, kind of thing. So like I'm doing another sumo panel. It's a little bit different focus than the last one, but it'll be great if it gets accepted. Wow, that would make me nervous too between panels. Yeah, it was nerve-wracking because I wasn't sure if I was gonna have to like leave midway to go to my panel or even be late to my panel. So yeah, I was kind of worried about that, but luckily enough, like I still had enough time to go. I spoke to you quickly at the Smart Doll panel. You and I spoke at Otakon. I have an OG. Oh, the OG Ebony. Yes, I remember talking to you because you're like one of the few people that have like the OG Ebony with the old skin tone color, right? If I remember correctly. But yeah, it was definitely a good con. I don't know if I'm gonna be back next year, only because I have plans to go to another con next year that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, coincides the same weekend as Katsucon. So I may not be there next year, but I'll plan to go back probably the year after that. But yeah, Katsucon was pretty cool. I really enjoyed the con. It's a pretty, I would say, it's a medium-sized con. It's a good con to go to. It's just the area is a little. So once you get out of the National Harbor area, the area outside is a little bit shady. So you got to watch out for that if you're coming down to Katsucon. And I love going to winter cons. So that's a plus for me. I don't like waiting around outside in the heat for summer cons. But, most of the cons are in the summer. So, you can't really get around that. But I hate the heat. So like anytime I can attend a winter time con, I'm all for it. Like Katsucon, Anime NYC, which apparently is moving to August, so that kind of sucks now. But they're gonna have Anime New Jersey plus in the winter, so that'll be a good one to go to. But yeah, I prefer the cold. That's just a personal preference though for me, and I think most cosplayers probably do too, because wearing all those cosplays makes you super hot, I would assume. But yeah, I mean, I cosplayed like maybe once or twice in my youth, and during the summertime, it was pretty brutal. Being out there in the heat, especially waiting in lines to get in, etc. But yeah, I'd say going back to the other picture here, this convention hall, like this is a really really cool convention place. Like just the atmosphere and the overall vibe of this place is really cool. Otakon also has a lot of lighting as well, but nothing like this. Like the lighting here is just amazing. Like it definitely has that view wow factor of this con that I thought was really, really cool. But that's pretty much everything for Katsucon this year. Katsucon 2024. I had a lot of good time there. Met a lot of really cool people there as well. Um, Hopefully, I will see some of you again at Thy Geekdom Con. That's my plan. That's my next con that I'm planning to attend. Is Thy Geekdom Con in May. And then I have Otakon, I think it's the last week of July or the first week of August. So those are the next two places I'm going to be appearing at. I might show up at Castle Point Anime in New Jersey. I just don't know yet because I haven't heard back from them whether or not I could do my panels there. And like, I know it sounds a little bougie, but like I usually mostly only go to cons if I do panels. Because it gives me I just like talking. As you guys can tell from this YouTube channel, I like talking, and I like talking about dolls and this hobby. So, you know, being able to go to a con and do that is always amazing. I'm usually at cons mainly to do panels, you know, because once you've done so many conventions, after a while, other than like the event space itself, like, you know, like this one, how it has a big open glassed area. Other than like the visuals of the actual place, like the building, all cons after a while start getting the same. The dealer's room is the same dealer's room in pretty much every con, whether it's big or small. It's always the same merchandise. Obviously, from year to year, the merchandise varies because there's newer stuff. But you know, you always like I've made so many friends in the dealer's room and the artist alley room just because I see them like every single con I go to. Same thing with panelists too. Like going to cons and doing panels, I start recognizing the same panelists, and some of the other panelists, like, you know, we become friends because we always see each other at every con we go to. So, you know, you start meeting people like that way. So I've made a lot of friends just doing panels at cons. And I think that's like probably my most favorite part now. Like, it's just going to other friends' panels, and just meeting other panelists and things like that. I rarely ever go to the dealer's room as much anymore. I only go there with my daughter to, you know, to go shopping for her. Artist Alley I go to all the time though, because I have a lot of friends in the Artist Alley that I check out and hang out with. But I don't really do any of the other stuff at cons anymore like I used to. So yeah, it's given me more of a reason to go to more cons now that my daughter's old enough to appreciate them and actually like enjoy going to panels and enjoy participating in the events. So like being able to do panels at many different cons also gives me to something to do and while she's there and doing her own thing, you know, and sometimes depending on the con, you know, like I will get an extra badge for my daughter to attend. Some cons are very generous like that. It's usually most of the smaller cons that are generous that give my daughter a badge, even though she's not a panelist. But more of the bigger cons, you know, usually you'll have to pay for your own badge, which is understood. But yeah, sometimes like it works out pretty well like that. PMB says, I can't believe how huge that interior is, and it being enclosed. Yeah, it's huge because you could see like these hotel rooms, like already this is like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. That's 15 floors that you can see that's open and enclosed, and then there's more floors down here. So there's like, you know, like 16, probably 17, 18, 19. Like, let's say, just for sake of habit, it's 20 floors. I don't know, because I didn't stay in this hotel, so I don't know what the elevator says, how many floors there is. But, you know, even if it's not 20, maybe it's 15, that's still a very large, open, enclosed glassed area. Like, it's a very beautiful hotel. Like, it's really nice there. So, yeah, it's a pretty cool place. Luxeri says it gives an excuse for you to spend to go to a con if you have a panel. Yeah, it does. Like it's always like a good excuse for that as well. But you know, I also go, like I said earlier, I also like going to these cons because I want to. I'm trying my best, I guess you could say, to do my part as a member of this doll community to, you know, outreach to other people to show how awesome this hobby is, and to expose like at least anime people and con goers of what this hobby is like, and what they can expect from it, you know, things like that. So that's always like a good thing. But that's pretty much it. That's everything for my Katsucon 2024 recap. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Is it Katsucon or Katsucon? Like, I don't know if I'm putting too much emphasis in the katsu. But either way, it was a great time. I really enjoyed my time there. It was pretty cool. So that brings us pretty much to the end of today's episode. It's not a very long episode, as most of the recap episodes are fairly short. They're not really that long. Because I mean, there really isn't too much to talk about, unless it's like one of those recap episodes where like Danny's there and I have more to say because there's more things happening. But hopefully I didn't bore you guys too much. Again, I understand that these type of episodes are not the most fun to watch and listen to, but I just enjoy talking about it. So if you guys enjoy it, that makes me happy. So that's pretty much it. So for the end of today's episode, as always, we will have a little anime corner. So where is that? Here we go. So we have Shizu-san's anime corner. To be quite honest with you guys, I haven't been watching much anime as of late. For those of you that... Oh, my chair. For those of you that have been watching my channel for quite some time, as you know, I've gotten a new position or promotion at my job. I've been super swamped lately. Since I got back from Katsucon, like, it's been a nightmare at work. Like work has been like really stressful, and I've been doing a lot of overtime, which is great because more money to spend on dolls, but at the same time, super tired. So I haven't really been watching too much anime. But one show that I've recently started watching that I think is pretty good is this one so far. Now, I haven't finished it yet, but this one's called Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody. As most of you already know from watching my channel, I am a huge isekai fan. Now, there's so much isekai out there, I haven't watched all of them. And to be quite fair, even though I love isekais, there's a lot of really bad isekai out there. But this one I thought was really cool. I actually really enjoy this one. I've only seen the first 4 episodes, but it's the same thing. Person gets isekai to another world. You know, he meets people along the way. They all gravitate towards him because, you know, he's super powerful and yada, yada, yada. I'm starting to notice a trend. Maybe I should have noticed this earlier, but a lot of isekais, for whatever reason, or maybe just anime in general recently, I don't know why, but they have like the whole slave thing lately, where like people are slaves in this isekai world, and the main character is either saving them for slavery or using slavery service, I guess you could say. Like, I don't know if I'm explaining that the correct way, so forgive me if I'm wrong, but like in this particular show, like some of these girls, like I believe, where is it, like these, yeah, like basically these 3 young girls like sitting next to the dude and this one girl above him. So far from the first 4 episodes I saw, these were all slaves that he basically purchased. He purchased these slaves, he paid money for them, but he doesn't treat them as slaves, if you know what I mean. Like, this has been done in a lot of isekai anime, and I don't know why. I don't know, but it's a great show regardless of that weird tidbit, because obviously slavery is bad and it's not a good thing. But I don't know why that appears in a lot of anime as of recently. Have any of you noticed that trend? Like, not even just isekai, there's just like regular anime shows that just seem to have some form of slavery in it, whether it's a commercialized use of it or just a rescuing people from it. Like, I don't know, man, it's weird. Like, I don't know why this is appearing in a lot of places, but regardless of that fact, I think this show is pretty good. It does have an interesting twist to the whole like isekai video game genre thing. So it's a twist that I personally have not seen in other anime before. I don't want to give away what that is, but you'll notice it very early on in the show because it happens in episode 1. But give it a shot. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But if so far you guys have liked my recommendations that I've given out for isekai anime or anime in general from the past couple episodes, then you might like this one. If we're on the same wavelength for anime vibes, then you might like this one. But that's pretty much it. That is my choice for this week's anime corner. But yeah, unless you guys have any questions for me that you want to know, or you guys want to just hang out and talk, you could write it in the chat right now. I can answer a couple questions. Or if you're watching this later in the VOD, thank you for watching the whole VOD and making it all the way to the end. Leave me a comment in the comment section down below, and I will get to it as soon as possible. For the last, I think, 3 or 4 episodes, I haven't responded to any comments because I just haven't had time to. I promise I will get to your comments as soon as I can. It's just work has been kicking my butt since I came back from Katsucon. So I will try to answer them as soon as I can, like once things have settled down. There are a couple days, obviously, like I said before, Daigikdom-con, Otakon, possibly Castle Point Anime coming up, that there will be no episodes of either Beyond the Doll or the Doll Symposium because I'll be at cons. There's also a couple events for my kids that are coming up that just so happen to be on a Friday. And I believe there's like 2 work events that I have to attend that are going to be on a Friday evening. So this year is just really bad for me. So I may try to do like makeup episodes on a Saturday. Or those weeks will just have no episodes those weeks. So I've just given you guys that heads up, for the future, just in case, you don't see a live stream on a Friday. It's because of, one of those things. But I will notify you guys in the week prior and, oh, hey, there's not going to be an episode next week kind of thing. So at least you'll get more of a heads up as we get closer to those days. But next week there will be an episode. Next week is the Doll Symposium. It's our news week. There's a couple big things that have been announced, so I can't wait to talk about it next Friday. But yeah, we'll get to that then. But yeah, that's everything for today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, thank you for staying along and watching. I really appreciate it. Luxaria says, I watched that too. Slavery is popular to boost the image of the main character. I guess, because the main character's saving them from the bad situation. So yeah, I suppose. But is that, Luxaria, correct me if I'm wrong, or at least let me know your opinion on the matter. Is this something that's been around in anime for a while, or is this like a recent trend? Because I feel like the whole slavery bit is starting to like come out a lot more now, or maybe just I never noticed it before in prior anime. But I feel like for the past like maybe, I don't know, 4 years maybe, that topic has like popped up a lot in a lot of different anime shows. So I don't know, maybe it's just me. Lux says in anime and even in some novels. PMB Sakura says, I will have to keep an eye out in anime. I had not noticed that before. Yeah, like some shows that come off the top of my head is things like this show. Gate was another one that had it. See, now that I'm trying to think about it, like I can't remember. What was it called? The Skeleton in Another World, that had it. Mushoku Tensei had it. Like there's quite a lot of shows that had like slavery theme, and I'm not saying slavery was the main point of the show. It's just it was in it, like, and it was like somewhat of a part of it. But yeah, there's quite a few shows that had that aspect, and I don't know why. Lux says it's been around for a long time. Oh, if it has, then I guess I just didn't notice it until recently. I suppose I just haven't noticed it until recently. But that I just thought that was like a weird thing that I personally just started to notice. Like I don't know. But anyways, thanks guys for chatting with me tonight. I always appreciate everybody that shows up and chats along. You guys are the best, and I always have fun doing these. So yeah, that really brings up us to the end of today's episode. Please hit that like button if you like this episode. It really helps out the channel because the more likes I get, the more YouTube tries to promote these episodes and this channel. So hit that thumbs up if you really liked it. Share it with your friends if you thought it was great and you want to show it to other people, and hit that subscribe button so you get notified for all future videos that are coming up. But that's it for me. I am your host, Shizu-san, and my lovely Artemis is here, who is... The lighting is not doing her any justice today, but yes, Artemis is here. So thank you everybody for coming. Have a good night, and we'll see you next week for the news. Bye.
Everybody wanna sing, sing, sing. You're a winner when you sing, sing, sing. I've got a song, you hum along, and we have fun, fun, fun when we're moving to the beat. This kind of song makes you belong to something greater, something